Welcome to number 5 video in this series. We're going to work more help desk tickets so we can learn how to do help desk. That's all there is to it. Let's get to it because there's a lot more to learn. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Kobuman. Today we're going to continue with our series. This series is a series of videos, tutorials if you will, is called Working Help Desk Tickets. This is number 5 in the series. So if you got a moment, please let me know in the comments that you're present, or just say hi. That way I just know that you are still watching and interested in this type of content. So far, I know a lot of you are, and I really appreciate that, since hence I am making the number 5 in the series. I mean, people are watching, so I'm going to keep making them. I see a lot more tickets now, which is great. Thank you all who submitted these tickets, all the people that helped out. Some of these tickets are submitted by me, but in this case, looks like majority of tickets are submitted by users, which is great. It really makes a big difference when it comes to creating more content. So if you want to submit issues for me to work and talk about in detail, please do. There's a link in the comment below. Very first comment from me, from this channel, there's going to be a link that you can go through and submit tickets. Again, this is all from my personal experience. Everything is from personal experience. This is a real life type of experience that I'm sharing with you. 100% free. And I see people leaving comments quite often thanking me for not charging people for this. It's my pleasure. I mean, it's just the right thing to do. You know, I believe in karma, so this is why I'm making these videos for free. You know, why not? All right. So we're going to work some of these tickets. We're going to go down the line. We're going to work the oldest tickets first because you know those people have been waiting the longest. So when you're in a business environment, you want to take care of people who have been waiting in line. When somebody submits a ticket, they're basically waiting in line for somebody to help them with their computer issue. Okay, so the first one is Office 365 issue from AJ. Thank you, AJ. I really appreciate you submitting this ticket. First thing first, always assign a ticket to yourself so you can get credit for it. You don't want somebody else to be working on this ticket as well or take it from you while you're already, working on it. So AJ's ticket is about Office 365 issue, and it says not able to open my mailbox. So there are a few reasons for this, and depending on whether you are using the web version or the desktop installed one or PC installed version of Outlook. Let's see what we can do about this. The main issue here is, for me personally, is that my Office 365 for business license for educational purposes, and it's technically a business license, has expired. So I can no longer use Outlook on my computer because those licenses expired. And but I've made tons of these Office 365 videos as well. But that's okay. Here is a free version of Outlook online that is available. Now, I wish AJ was a little bit more specific on what kind of error that is. So whenever you get an issue where it's vague like this, you need more information. So what we're going to have to do is first, we're going to have to contact the customer, in this case AJ, and ask for more information. We're going to say, hello, this is Irvin with Help Desk. I have your ticket about not able to open mailbox. Can you please send me a screenshot of the error? So you can ask them what is the error, and they can try to explain to you what the error is, and that's fine. But if you ask for a screenshot, you can actually see what the error is. So this is where I'm going to um, this is what I'm going to start with. Now, I will talk about potential issues. I will talk about what the potential issues may be in regards to this. However, we don't know exactly what the error is, or if there is any clue to exactly why not able to open my mailbox. Because as far as I know, it could be license not working, it could be internet not working, it could be some kind of local data corruption or local catch, I don't know, uh, that people might get, which is, you have to reset in this case. Anyways, we're going to go through all of these things, but we for sure, when working help desk, we need to know what the screenshot is, what the error is, so that way we can go about that, because the errors are there for a reason. They will give you an idea, and a really good idea of what the issue might be, because they'll be very specific. Or if it's just simply just frozen, AJ might come back and say it's just frozen. Well, in that case, it could be something local on the computer too. So one of the main issues that could cause a mailbox to not open could be simply that they ran out of space. So if you're somebody who uses Outlook for business at work, there might be a limit of how much space is allowed for your inbox, or what's also known as a folder. It's simply storage. I'll allow allocated storage for your inbox. So the more stuff that populates in here, the more it takes up. This is especially true when there are attachments. There are attachments in the emails that will add up quickly. So if you have somebody sending you big Excel files, some kind of, I don't know, some kind of forms, databases, any attachments, pictures, as far as I know, this could add up quickly if you don't have enough space. This can also happen within the calendar in Outlook. So if you go inside of Outlook and look at the calendar, you will have invitations that are created. For example, let's say you have a weekly meeting or even a daily meeting that you go to. Those daily meetings may have attachment. For example, things we're going to talk about in today's meeting, and there's an Excel attachment. I don't know. All these things can add up to a lot of space, which can take up your inbox unless you archive them. Unless you create an archive file, which is also known as PST. So, not to be confused with OST. So, if you have Outlook installed, now this is just a web version of it. So, we can't recreate a PST file, which is a local archive file that goes onto your computer. This is a web version, which also creates a temporary location for the inbox, but it's inside your web browser, cached somewhere else. So, inbox is called OST, and that's a temporary solution. It also gets downloaded to your computer, but if you delete it on your computer, it doesn't matter because it's still stored on the server itself. PST, which is the archive like this here, is not. It's usually stored locally, and it's called a .pst extension, and that might be if you delete it, it's gone. This might be a little bit different with Outlook. We can certainly see if they have changed the way that they are storing archives. So if you run out of space, now we know what to do is to create archives and remove stuff, delete stuff from your inbox or your calendar. So how do we know if this person has enough space to keep getting more emails? Because keep in mind, that could be the main issue here. If you run out of space on inbox, no new emails will come through. Nothing will come through because there's not enough space, right? There's not enough space. It's like trying to shove more things into your backpack when there's not enough space. Let's say you're a mailman and you're trying to carry, all the mail that's coming through that people are sending, but you only have one bag and you can only fill it up to so much. That's kind of what the issue is here. All right, now let's look at how much, an example in Exchange of just a random person of how much storage they might have. All right, so here we are in admin Exchange software, program, website. So this is basically where you check the mailbox sizes for recipients or users, if you will. And you can get to it a couple of different ways. You can simply type in adminexchange.microsoft.com if you have access to this stuff. Keep in mind when you do mailbox, when you do help desk, you may not have access to some of this stuff. But you can also get to the Exchange link through Microsoft 365 Admin Center, which is on the bottom here, where it just says Exchange. You click it, and then it just opens it up. So within Exchange Admin Center, select mailboxes. It's going to show people that I just have regular mailboxes, and I have, and I just clicked here on Bob Bobson as just a random person. If you click them, it's going to expand over here, and on the bottom right, you'll see exactly how much storage they have. Now, this is from whenever I set up Office 365 for educational purposes, when Microsoft gave me a license. So I just kind of set it up to have a maximum of, I don't know, 49.5 gigabytes of space. But you can see how much is used out of 49 gigabytes. And here it's just 2.3 megabytes used out of 49.5 gigabytes. Now, giving somebody this big of a inbox is an overkill for somebody who is just takes regular emails. They're not somebody super important. So having 49, 0.5 gigabytes is a bit an overkill. But what if it's like 2 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes or 5 gigabyte limit? This is something you can reach. Any regular person working at a company can reach this limit within a year or two in an inbox. However, it's not unusual to see this size or even larger inbox for like a big time manager, like a big manager that's in charge of multiple groups, or a director level or something like that. They'll probably have maybe even bigger storage amount because they get all the emails. They get all the emails most likely from all kinds of places. So if they're running out of space, this is where you can check to see if that's the issue. Again, unfortunately, we don't have exact idea of why mailbox is not opening, so we're still guessing at this point. Another reason, obviously, is you don't have connection. First of all, you don't have network connection, so you may not be connected to either the VPN if you're working from home. If somebody's working from home and you support them, they may not be connected to VPN. That's another reason why it may not work. Let's see, what else could it be? I mentioned, the license expired, for which you have to go back into the Office 365, make sure that they have an Outlook license. I talked about this in a previous video. I highly suggest that you watch it because I have a specific error that I show in there. And it's not a super long video, so you can find it there, but it's definitely there, and you can certainly look at that. There's a screenshot of what happens when you don't have a license. So definitely watch that video if you're interested in that. Let's see, what else could it be? Not able to open my mailbox. Could also be that, could be as simple as your password expired. You no longer have access to it because, you can't log in. You can't log in. We don't know. We definitely need to see that screenshot from AJ. So that being said, I'm going to actually leave this open and hopefully hear back from AJ if he has it, and then touch back on this, which is perfectly fine. That will give us an example of what to do when somebody reaches back. If you have a way to contact AJ in this case, and if I had a phone number or something like that, then in work environment, I would have to call him and talk to him, or send him a message over instant messenger, whatever it is that they use. Just find a way to contact him, besides email, obviously. So I would get a hold of AJ and do this. Obviously, I'm not going to do that here because, first of all, I can't. And yeah, so we're just gonna wait for him to respond, and hopefully he watches this video or gets an email. He should get an email notification from me through the system, because the system itself is just system itself is sending you notifications through emails. So we're not gonna close this or anything like that. We're just gonna keep it open, and it's assigned to me. So that's fine. You can see here that if I click assign to me, that it's assigned to me. Nobody else can work on it, and it just says waiting for customer. Okay, which is perfectly fine. So we're gonna leave it at that. And if you can think of anything else that I may have missed, then please let me know in the comments. So if I click on all open, you can see that that ticket that we just worked on is still assigned to me. But if I click on unassigned issues, that ticket is going to go away, and then we're not going to see it anymore, which is most likely what you would want to check whenever you're working help desk. Matter of fact, I'm going to star it here, so that way we can quickly use it from now on. Okay. We're going to move to another one. Oh, this one actually ties in to what we just talked about. It is, well, we're definitely going to read it and see what's going on here. It's Outlook Slow, and it's from, I'm going to try to pronounce it. I'm really sorry. I really appreciate you submitting this, but I'm sorry if I pronounce it. Is it Munaswaran? Munaswaran? Munaswaran. I hope I said your name right. I apologize. But thank you very much. It says, Dear Sir, I noticed that no issue on the laptop. No issues on the laptop, okay? When I archive Outlook message, you got slowness in Access Outlook. Okay, so when you archive a message, you get slowness. Then I upgrade 4 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes of RAM, still facing slow. After uninstall and install 365, same issue. I've noticed the 2 archives on C drive, another one on F drive. Is there anything to do with slowness? So there are many elements here what could be causing this. Let's do this. I don't have Outlook installed, but there's a program here called just Mail, and we're going to log into it. We're going to use our sample user here that we worked with, just to have a sudo Outlook going. So it's sample user 26 at outlook.com. Sample user 26 at outlook.com. So yeah, in this case, you don't actually have to have Outlook installed. This is called Mail, which is kind of like Outlook, I suppose. And we're going to log into it. Perfect. Look at this. This is beautiful. Here's an example of an error. Something went wrong. Great. We couldn't sign you in. If this error persists, contact your system administrator. Provide the error code. Ah, jeez. All right. Well, let's look at the details. This is why errors and screenshots are important. It says here, server message. User account. Okay. And then it hides our email because it's an encrypted error for some reason. From identity provider at outlooklive.com. I don't know why it encrypts that, but I know it's at outlooklive.com. Does not exist in tenant. And then it specifies Microsoft services and cannot access the application. So this tells us that this doesn't work. Free Outlook account does not work with Mail account. So if you see Mail app on your computer like this here, it will not work because it doesn't see it. It says it doesn't exist. And then it says here, the account needs to be added as an external user in tenant first. Sign out and sign in again with different Azure Active Directories user accounts. So here's our big takeaway here. This is why I say screenshots are super important. Sign out and sign in again with different Azure Active Directory user account. So this specifically is telling me that this Outlook free Outlook account that we're using here needs to be part of Azure Active Directory. Otherwise, you cannot sign in. So using free Outlook account, you cannot sign in because it needs to be added supposedly within Active Directory. What that tells me is that you cannot use this mail account unless you're using a business account. That's what that tells me. Which is unfortunate. Look, see, now it's asking me for Office 365 login. Look at this. See, they don't want you to use Outlook for free and use this mail app as Outlook on your computer. See, it can find the user. I know it can, but it just can't. Well, let's see. I'm going to try it again. Wow. It let me log in like that. What? That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. Look at that. You know, guys, I haven't cut this. I haven't edited this. But now it just works. Microsoft is really bizarre when it comes to this. That error came up and literally told us we can't log in. But here it is. Logged in, and I haven't done anything to fix it. I'm going to minimize it. And let's kind of reiterate. So here's the archive message. When you, like I mentioned, remember how I mentioned before, whenever you create an archive, it stores it locally. And the fact that he upgraded from 4 gigabyte to 8 gigabyte is great, and still maybe related to what's going on here. But I want you to know that he mentioned also that 2 archives, one on C drive, another on F drive. Archives can be saved anywhere. You can save them anywhere. You just specify where you want it to be saved. So the slowness could be, it could be C drive, and it could be the F drive. That where it's coming from, because when you're archiving, and it's archiving. It's just accessing that. It's not the issue that it can't archive to these drives. The issue is how fast can it access that archive. So whenever you go in here and select archive, however long it takes to open up an archive that's added in here, that's going to be dependent on, in this case, on your local storage, how fast. So in this case, the issue may be that the C drive is slow. But why is the C drive slow? C drive, we all know the C drive is our main drive where our operating system is installed, which is this. All right, everything is installed in when it comes to operating system. Everything is installed on C when it comes to Windows operating system, and everything that's running is running from C drive. All these processes that are running in the background, they're all running from the C drive, unless you open up a program that's installed on a different drive. But all of this stuff that you see in here, all of this activity, all of this that's happening right now is on C drive. So of course, if this is slow or not fast enough, this could be cause of a problem. Of course, check to see if 8 gigabytes of memory is enough. I know you upgraded, and that's fine. However, and then we got F. I just so happen to have F here. So if he's got archive installed in here, this could also be the cause. If this thing is slow, if this drive is slow, you can also test this by doing like a copy paste of a large file. Let's see. So here are some just backup of my videos here. You see how it's taken a while to access? This because this is a magnetic type of drive. Look, see how it's seeking? It took a little bit to come up to open up. And if you want to test this, you can test it like this, or you can do a copy paste, or this and that. But that's exactly a point. This is a seek time for this drive because it's just a magnetic drive. So that could be the issue too. Of course, I would have to have access to it, but hopefully what I'm saying right now can help you figure it out. I would also have a question for you, whether other things are running slow. In that case, if we have things running slow, there might be something in the processes that's taking up a lot of processing power. Like you see how it's CPU here. If you see something that comes up here that's taking up a lot of CPU power, that could be your problem. Look into that. Let's say, I don't know, let's say we have anti-malware service, which is the antivirus here that's running in the background. Let's say this is running super high, like as in it's using a lot of percentage of CPU. I would check into it, see why it's doing that. A lot of times it's because it takes a long time to search all the files on your C drive. Again, here is our here's our C drive. If this is not fast enough, then that could be the problem too. It could be it could be older laptop. I don't know. Chances are it might be because it's 4 GB and you add another 4 to 8, which is great. That's perfectly fine. What you did, you gave a good idea of what the issue may be. But I would look at these things that I've mentioned as well to see if you can rectify the issue. Uninstalling and installing Office 365, same issue. I have a feeling that wherever you have the archives installed, one of these drives is just super slow and it's causing the problem. That's what I would kind of concentrate on. But I think besides that, I would have to see what's going on in the background and see if there are any processes. But your task manager is your friend. Your task manager is your friend. Whenever it's slowing down like that, look at the task manager and see what's taking up a lot of processing power. If you see Outlook come up in here, and then it's taking up a lot of processing power, like a lot of CPU percentage, then you know that it's most likely the archive on the C drive or the F drive. It really ties in into everything we've done. So we've got this installed here. I don't know. I'm glad I actually opened this up just to show you that weird error and how you can read it and how to go about it. But let's see. When we click archive, and it just did it. So I think this one just created it on the cloud, if you will, on the network. Let's see if it created anything locally. Local C. Usually archives are inside of the local profile, which is in here. Let's do a search for .pst, see if anything comes up. Yeah, it looks like the archives are being created on the cloud in this case. Okay, I think that's pretty much all we can say about this until, without access to the computer. Oh, I forgot to assign the ticket to myself. All right, I got distracted. Should have done that first. All right, I'm going to reply and going to say hello. This is Irvin with PC support. Why did I? Oh my god. PC support. I'm going to say I would check to see if there are any background processes, which also could be a virus. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something in the background causing the problem. Background processes causing high CPU usage. Now, I'm talking to somebody who's working on their computer. So talking to the customer like this wouldn't necessarily be the proper way of going about this. Usually with the customers or users, you're just asking them questions that will help you solve the problem, like as in, what is the error? What's the screenshot? Type of stuff. I'm just replying to this person so they can check their computer. And I'm going to say the most likely cause of the slowdown is related to either C drive or the F drive being slow. Open Outlook, and when it slows down, check Task Manager to see if Outlook is using a lot of CPU. And then which would mean that one of the drives is too slow, or is slow to access / open the archive stored. I'm gonna do that, and you can also watch my video, of course, for my other. I'm going to add internal note and say sent instructions to user on how to check their computer for this issue. And I have no choice. Usually this is something I would do it myself, but in this case I'm sending instructions, and I don't know, as far as I know, your help desk work environment might require you to act like this. I don't know. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna close it because these are some things he's gonna have to check. There's no screenshot per se, it's just slow. There's no screenshot to ask for. All right, we're gonna move on to other tickets here. Okay, moving on. So here's another ticket here. Looks like we have lots of tickets submitted from D. Thank you very much, D. I appreciate it. I really do. It means a lot. All right, first one, and this one's called remote. I have trouble. I have to troubleshoot customer computer, but it's not connected to company VPN, but it's connected to her home network. How can I remote in? This is an excellent question. Now this time I'm going to remember to assign a ticket to myself. There we go. You can connect and take control of somebody's computer while they're not on VPN, and that's by creating a session that that is called a remote session that they can join to. Sort of like you can do the same kind of same thing with meeting software like Zoom. What's some other ones? Some kind of meeting software. Why can't I think of more than one meeting software? Blue Jeans, Zoom. There's Google Meeting, WebEx. All those things. You can create a meeting. Send them a link to it. Send them a link to it, and they can join it. They can join it, and then from there you can request to take control of their computer. That's one way. But if you're using a remote software, remote control software like Dimeware, you can send invitation to join a remote session, which is this here, where it says invite user to join remote session. I can't do it here because my Dimeware is not connected to a business network, or it's not set up like that. But once you click this, and I do this at work all the time, you select invite user to join remote session, and it creates a link, a web link with instructions, and then you send that to them. You can send that to them, and then they join your session, in which you take control of their computer and then troubleshoot any issues. However, there is an issue when you do that, when you're not connected to the network, and that is an issue in which you are required to use administrator credentials to install or make changes to a computer. So for example, if I were to make changes, let's see, I'm just going to pick a random thing here. Hold on. Anything that requires you to use admin privileges. I'm looking for something that I can install. Here it is, shared. Now, why is this not working? Okay, I must have disabled that network drive. We can fix that in a future video because I saw there is a ticket in there about installing from a shared drive. But anyways, it could be anything that you're trying to run as administrator. For example, let me see if this thing will come up. VLC media. It's gonna ask for an update. Okay, that's not what I want. Is this set up properly? Anyways, what I was going to say, you cannot install programs without administrator privileges, right? So for that to happen, you would need, you see how it's right now asking me for administrator privileges? This is not going to work when you're not connected to VPN. When you're not connected to VPN, meaning that you're not connected to that network, which also means that you're not connected to the domain and your credentials are domain credentials. You see, you cannot authenticate yourself unless you're connected to the network, unless you're connected to the domain, because your login credentials, whatever you use to use your login to log into your computer, your administrator privileges are connected to the domain, so it's not going to work. So for that, you would have to get, and hopefully this is set up in a business environment, you would have to get what it's called local administrator login. So if, for example, you look at user profiles here, and this most likely will be invisible profile that is in here. It will be called admin or something like that, and it would have administrator privileges. So you need to find that. You need to find what that is for that specific computer, for this specific host name. So if you find the computer host name, here it is in devices, you can see the device name here is just called stream. That's the name of this computer. You would look up stream, the name of this computer, copy it, go to the database that has a list of passwords for the local administrator, paste it in there, and then look it up to see what that is. And now, whenever you make changes, you can use those credentials to, update it, because you would need a local, not connected to the network, administrator privileges to troubleshoot issues, to make changes. Okay, so if you go to your control panel, for example, you can see what the user accounts are in there. And you can see that this one is just a local account, that it's password protected. And you can select, well, let's see here, manage other accounts. And you can see that this is just a regular local account, and this one here is administrator local account. So in some cases, you can have some elevated privileges when it comes to making changes, basic changes based off local account. But if you don't have administrator login, then it's not going to work. So, going back to advanced properties, so this is advanced system settings. You see how it keeps asking me? I wouldn't be able to open this without having administrator account. You can see under these profiles that the stream, the name of the computer, device name is before it, and then we got a backslash, and then it says big power is the admin account, and Kuppelman is just a regular one. So there you go. That's how I would do this. Thank you very much for the ticket. I'm going to reply and say you can use meeting software to invite and then take control of the computer. Simply send them a meeting link that they can join to. Also, remote software can create sessions for which you can send a link to user. I think this is clear enough. I think Dee understands what I'm saying here, and Dee will probably watch this and understand what I'm saying here. Again, thanks a lot. I see that you've submitted other issues that we can work on, and we're certainly going to talk about that in future videos. This is great. This will create at least 3 more videos on this. So the more you guys submit them, the more videos we're going to make about this. So again, thanks very much for watching, for submitting these issues. If you'd like to support channel further, consider joining. And all the people that have joined, I really appreciate it. Again, it's not necessary. All of this is always going to be free. But if you do join, I release these videos 24 hours ahead of anybody. So it's early access, if you will, just as a thank you to people that do support me like that. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day and stay safe. Bye-bye.